What's up guys, deadbydawn93 here, back once again for another review, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing another movie that I got from that really awesome VHS box that I received from Walter Pacenta. Like I said, you guys saw me unbox it, and this movie was one movie I was really excited to see. First off, because the cover looks amazing, and it is Evil Ed. I mean, just the first thing I saw when I opened up the box, it was at the very top, and just look at that cover. It is just, the guy getting his head chopped off, cut in half is just insane. And then there's actually a shot of him right there on the side, and on the other side right there. And one thing that is cool is that this tape actually has two covers on each side, so that's really cool. I've never seen a tape that has two different covers on it. I prefer this cover over that cover, but they both look really cool. But anyway guys, this movie's called Evil Ed, and from the point I put it in, this movie is just a campy, fun, like, bloody ride. It really is. There's so many things going on in this movie. It's so cheesy, it's crazy, just everything about this movie. I enjoyed this movie so much. I have not enjoyed this horror movie like this. I have not enjoyed a movie like this in a long, long time. Basically, the movie revolves around this guy named Edward, and he actually works for a film editing company called Slasher and Gore. And basically, they're there to edit movies, you know, edit out all the really gory or really violent scenes for release. And he has this boss named Mr. Campbell, who's kind of a douchebag. He treats Edward kind of like crap. He treats everybody that works there kind of like crap and everything. And he's got these two like sort of kind of witty, kind of dopey guys that, you know, are just sort of there to help out and everything like that. They wear hats and they're kind of like, look like high school kids or whatever, but they're not. They look like they're in their 20s really, but they're dressed up like high school kids. And you know, and Ed, he's kind of a wimpy character, and he's in charge of editing a series of films called the Loose Limbs series, and basically he edits them at home, and you know, he's really repulsed by what he sees. Like, he hates the films, he hates what's in it. At one point there's one scene in it where it doesn't show it in the movie, but there's one scene where a girl supposedly gets raped by a beaver, and yeah, that was sort of like the main scene of it. There's 8 films in the series, and you do get to see some of the scenes from the movies, which are actually pretty good. Like, at one point there's a scene of a guy sort of like he's performing surgery on a girl, and he injects her with something in her leg to numb it, and then just chops her leg off, and the gore is just unrelenting. There's so much blood covered in them and stuff. I think I like the first scene the most. What was it? Ah, man, I can't even remember the first scene. There's so many good gory scenes in this movie, but basically you see that one. The first scene was the main guy that's in the Loose Limbs films. He's got like long black hair, and he just looks like really, you know, dumb and creepy. Sort of like, I don't know, he kind of reminds me of like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, kind of, for some reason. And there's one scene where there's this girl who's like a prostitute, takes off her top, and he starts puking up a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, baby, come on, my cat's messing with stuff, and like and then he ends up, of course, killing her. While Ed is watching these movies, he begins to have these visions. At one point, he goes out into his kitchen, and he starts cutting up a loaf of bread, and then when he looks down, and it looks like an arm, and he's acting like he's chopping up an arm, and you know, he starts, of course, having these visions of, like, you know, people dying and stuff like that. So he tells his boss, you know, he's done with it, he doesn't want to do it anymore, and his boss, you know, ends up getting angry with him and starts chasing him around the house trying to get his attention, and Edward just keeps seeing him as this ghostly demon creature, or yeah, demon character, and is chasing him around, and he literally thinks that, you know, he's an actual demon chasing him through his house. And once Mr. Campbell confronts him, he accidentally kills Mr. Campbell, and that pretty much sets Edward off, and he ends up becoming going on sort of a killing spree where he goes around killing pretty much everybody that he feels is doing something bad, like, I guess, sinning, if you want to call it that, or like anybody that is doing anything that might corrupt, you know, because he thinks that the films are very corrupting, so he ends up going on a rampage because of it. This movie is basically a tribute, I guess, or a homage to like classic horror films like the 80s and 80s splatter films or 80s gore films. I don't know when this movie was made. There's no date on it anywhere. But he of course he does his work in this big building, which is basically where the the headquarters of the company that edits the films. And there's this big in Mr. Campbell's office. There's a big poster of Evil Dead 2. There's a poster of The Fly where Edward works. There's posters of like Critters, Evil Dead 2, The Fly. And it's just, you can tell that this entire movie was just inspired by all the classic horror films. There's also quotes taken exactly from the film. Like he has a wife and a daughter, and his wife's name is Barbara. And right before he goes after her, he goes, "I'm coming to get you, Barbara," which, as everybody knows, is from Now Living Dead. There's one scene which doesn't really make any sense. Like, if you notice, there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make any sense. But there's one scene where a group of guys are about to break into his house with guns and and everything like that for no reason. And there's one scene where a guy picks up a crowbar and he just goes groovy, like Ash and Evil Dead 2. Like I said, this movie is completely cheesy. This is one of those movies where, like, it even says it on the case. This is a no-brainer. It really is. This is one of those movies where you have to turn your brain off and just enjoy, because it's not meant to be taken seriously. This movie is a goofy joke, and I'm saying that in the best way possible, because like the acting isn't all that good, but the movie hardly makes any sense. It's just one, like, all the gore scenes are so humorous and so over the top, you just have to laugh at them. It's not meant to be taken seriously. The actors, they even know it's not meant to be taken seriously. So, if you see this movie, don't even, just sit down, relax, pop in some popcorn and just enjoy, because this movie is just a goofy, just hilariously gory, fun ride. There's one scene at the end where a group of like army guys come in and they're here to, shoot Edward or kill him at the end, and you're sitting there like, what? Why are they even here? There's one woman that calls the cops, but an army guys, really? They're not really, I don't know if they're really army, they look more like Navy guys or whatever. But like I said, like, this movie is just one of those movies where it's meant to be, I think this is more of a horror comedy. It's meant to be laughed at. It's meant to just be over the top and enjoyable. Really, really a great film, and I think it's one movie that every horror fan will love. For anybody that's just a fan of cheesy, like dumb horror movies, then this is definitely one to check out. I've heard that this tape is actually kind of rare and expensive. I've been told that this is the rarest tape that I got out of the whole lot. And yeah, I've actually looked for the DVD on Amazon, and it's actually pretty expensive. So, but if you can find it for a good price, then I highly recommend checking out Evil Ed. This is a crazy movie. This is a promotional screener copy, which I think is really cool. But yeah, if you just want to see a movie that is just goofy, over the top, leave your brain at home, just pop in popcorn, just, have something to drink with your friends or whatever, and just laugh at this goofy movie, then this is a definite movie for you. I definitely recommend this one. Recommend this movie for anybody that just loves dumb, stupid horror movies. Well, anyway, guys, that is my review for Evil Ed. Like I said, this will be my last horror review that I'm doing this year. I'm actually making a lot of changes to my channel, which I will talk about in my next video. I'm going to start talking about my favorite family films, my favorite Christmas movies, and just a lot of other stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who subscribes. I just made it over, I have about 213 subscribers now, so thank you all so much for it. I cannot repay you guys enough, and I hope you guys stick with me through the changes that my channel is making. I'm not going to make huge drastic changes. I'm never going to stop talking about horror films, so don't worry about that. But over the next couple of months, over the next, the rest of this month and maybe a couple weeks into next year, it'll be like non-horror films. So, if you only watch my channel for horror films, you might want to take a break from me for a while. But if you just watch my, channel just to check out, every type of horror film or every type of movie that I'm going to talk about, be it family, Disney, comedy, action, whatever, then, hope you guys stick with me. But anyway, guys, let's drop the case. Anyway, guys, that was my review for Evil Ed. Like I said, if you can find it for a good price, check it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who subscribes to me, and I will see you all next time.